Hello and welcome to the video. In this example, we're given a table with some sets of ordered pairs, and we're asked to first create a scattergram of the data showed in the table. So the first thing we want to think about as we begin to graph this data is we can think about each pair of values in the table as an ordered pair, and since the values are called x and y, we'll think about, x is going to be our independent variable on the horizontal axis, so that will come first, and then y would be 13. So those two values given there, 2 and 13, correspond to the order pair 2, 13. So to graph that, we'll first go to 2 on our x-axis, which is the horizontal axis. We see that the value 5 is labeled. We always assume that our starting value is 0 there, so we can count up to 2 right here for my x value. For my y value, I need to go to 13, which will go past 10, 11, 12, 13. So there would be my first data point, and I can fill in its value with an ordered pair, 2, 13. We'll graph the other points in a similar fashion. I have 7, 2, so I'm going to go to 7 on the x-axis. So there's 5, 6, 7, and then up 2. So there would be the data point 7, 2. Next up, I have 11 as my x value and 1 as my y value. So here's on the x-axis 10, now I go to 11, and then I go up 1. And finally, I have the data point 16, 13. So I'm going to go all the way up to 16 on the x-axis, and on the y-axis all the way up from 10, 11, 12, 13. So there we have created our scattergram of the data. And now they ask a question that brings in an important vocabulary term. They ask, is there a linear relationship between x and y? So when we think about a linear relationship, the key word that we can identify there is that word linear, which has the word line kind of as a subset of it. And when we think about a line in mathematical terms, we're talking about a straight line, a line that could be drawn with a ruler, not a curved line, a line that's straight. Doesn't have any curvature in it. And so when we're looking for a linear relationship between x and y, we're wondering, is there a straight line I could draw that would capture the general trend or pattern in this data? If I look at the general trend or pattern in this data, I see as x goes from small to large, I have a very large y value. As we move from left to right, it gets lower and lower, but then it goes back up again by a significant amount. So in this situation, the general trend we're seeing in our data appears to be more of a curve. It would be difficult to draw a single straight line that would come close to all these data points. If I drew something like this, for example, a straight line like that, it's in between all the data points, but it's not very close to many of them. This point up here is very far away above it. These points down here are very far below it. A better line that would capture the trend in the data points would be kind of a curve like this. So because a curve, or what we call